No pants. No pants squared. Ah! Okay, that is beyond no pants. I can't take it anymore. Space is far too cold to not have pants. Tell him!
Look at my pants with the eyes in your face. I am wearing face pants.
You know, I hope they pay attention to Space Pants Guy.
Hey, you there in front, stop talking during my song. It's very rude.
I take it back. Those space pants are one giant leap backwards. This is 1996's Space Truckers. We start on Triton, a moon of Neptune, which in name alone is a far better place than Uranus. After traveling through a long ravine that reminds me of shooting womp rats back home in Beggar's Canyon, we join a group of soldiers preparing for a Vader-level threat.
The room is sealed.
Wait, what does that mean for Johnny and Lisa? Oh, never mind. They seem like they'll be fine. Anyway, as the threat approaches, there is some incredibly strong language for a PG-13 movie.
Holy moly, I'm taking shots here!
But I guess it's acceptable since this guy is about to be blown sky high. Bad CGI melts a door, and in comes a triangular biomechanical threat that leaves people in a semi-gooey state. Personally, I would not want to have to be the one to deal with that. After surveying the results of their successful weapons test, President Sags and lead scientist Nebel discuss their murderous spree while giggling like schoolgirls. The bio-warrior remote instructions are given.
This thing turns them on and off.
But I kinda feel like they'll be promptly forgotten and catastrophic destruction will ensue. The titles are introduced with a twangy country tune.
Yeah, truckers' hearts get broke.
And we learn that the wide open space lanes are a great place to teach French Mustard some new tricks. John's Pachyderm 2000 pulls a full load of space pork into the goofiest looking space truck stop the 90s had to offer. And we're introduced to a truly holy fuck moment. Luckily, we get a distraction from... Unfortunately, he's wearing an ugly tie and fails to answer some important questions.
Where's my beer and when do I get paid?
Later, John enters a cowboy-themed space diner, and I feel like I should warn him about the space special.
What did he order?
Oh, he had a special.
That's what I ordered!
After learning about the perks of being an indie space trucker,
I still own my own rig, pick my own loads, and don't sell ad space on my tits, if that's what you're talking about.
we're treated to an old-fashioned diner brawl, which inevitably leads to the vacuum of space being let in. Norm's ugly tie-wearing ass saves the day for a second, but then, well, ouch. John, Cindy, and Mike escape into the ladies' room, interrupting its occupant during a moment of concentration. But it's a momentary inconvenience that leads to a secret door and the impeccably dressed Mr. Zesty. John is very straightforward with his intimate request,
I need a load.
and he picks up a priority load from the Space Sluts Company. They
Play footsie with fate, son.
and outmaneuver the space cops in such an awesome way that Mike declares,
That was some of the best driving I've ever seen.
cappuccino and eggs in a tube is used to celebrate, and then they strike a giant asteroid. The ship heats up, and it looks like they're gonna die all hot and bothered. That is until a pirate ship shows up and swallows their whole load. The pirates, who call themselves
The Jackers.
are basically Lost Boys, and their trench coat wearing, peg leg walking, mechanical hand having boss is basically a bionic Captain Hook. Goes to show you how allegiances shift while Peter Pan is away. The crew continues to lack pants, and Cindy gets a compliment.
You have a strong, distinctive, and not altogether unpleasant body odor.
Maybe? After a game of Whose Dick Is It,
Is this your dick? Huh? Huh? No.
That one's mine.
Cindy agrees to have sex with the half-mechanical captain to save her friends. Upon disrobing, she learns the captain is packing a pull-string vibrating dick, which doesn't quite work right. The captain does fix his dick, but Cindy is unimpressed, which makes him fall to pieces. And that leads to a full frontal shot unlike anything you've ever witnessed. Cindy roleplays as a captain, minus the pull-string penis, and is discovered by the robbed captain, who it turns out is head scientist Nabel. After being blown to bits by Sags, understandably, he desires revenge.
I'll feed Sags liver to the ship's rats.
the crew, led by this guy, finds out that John's cargo is the killer bioweapon thing from the start of the movie. The robots go full Terminator, turning everyone to goo and causing an explosion worthy of Star Wars. John, Cindy, and Mike escape into space and celebrate as a cappuccino and egg tube floats by. They continue to lack pants, but the threats haven't passed.
Wait a second, does somebody hear something back there that sounds like there's something back there?
A 70% blown apart captain awaits them, and the thought is...
Maybe I should get the first aid kit.
Profound words follow his passing.
For a son of a bitch, gimp, rapist, murderer. He died okay.
And they get ready to take on the incoming bioweapons. Well, that was anticlimactic. That's better. The crew is ultimately overwhelmed, and John sacrifices himself to save Cindy and Mike. And his final advice is... a little weird.
You take this woman to the church or the first exit off the freeway and you get hitched.
Johnny rides it Dr. Strangelove style and survives, asking the obvious question when he lands.
Hey, you married yet?
They visit Cindy's mom in the hospital, where no heart attacks are allowed. It's love at first sight, until World President Sag
Hail Strobe!
shows up and bribes them. They toss it out the window, and it just so happens to explode the president's limo. The four escape into space, and profound questions are asked.
Any chance I'll lose my lunch?
Then, as you would expect from any good trucker movie, Rednex sings us out. Space Truckers is a 1996 sci-fi comedy directed by the masterful Stuart Gordon, the man behind Reanimator, From Beyond, and Robot Jocks. It stars Dennis Hopper, Barbara Crampton, Debbie Mazar, and Stephen Dorff. It was filmed at Ardmore Studios in Ireland due to tax breaks. Overall, it had a $25 million budget, but only made back $2 million. Although it was shown in theaters across the world, in the US its debut came on HBO, and it wasn't well received by critics, getting only a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. Gordon, along with his co-writer Ted Mann, wanted to tell a space trucker story that covered the blue-collar side of space. No scientists, no techies, none of the unusual, polished, sanitary environments we're used to in a space film. And they certainly achieved that. The production design was suitably lived in, the people and dialogue wouldn't be seen within 40 parsecs of a Star Trek base, and the square pigs would have been fried up by the Death Star kitchens ages ago. I really appreciated the more lived-in feel, and Gordon's desire to show an everyday person's version of futuristic space living was definitely an outside-the-box concept. It's good to see that not everything was the Enterprise or the Death Star. The bioweapons also had an interesting style designed and built by Hajime Sorayama and Screaming Mad George. Space Truckers was recommended to me by a couple people who saw it when it first premiered on HBO. The effects and overall set design feels very much like classic late 90s cable. This in mind, you can see the ambition of what they wanted to accomplish. It felt like a case of big ideas and some lack of follow-through on the backside. It's not that all the setups weren't paid off, it's that it felt like it took as many endings as Return of the King to do so. In that time, there were some great explosions and some very funny moments, but it just kept going. Space Truckers essentially takes Star Wars, Hook, and Predator, dresses them up in comfy plaid, and tosses them into a well-worn cab full of weird food containers, questionable stains, and trucker hats. From ambition to overall feel, it's a cheeky time that does have some flaws, but they certainly aren't enough to stop this from being a crazy-ass 90s ride. If you like Spaceballs or Ice Pirates, then this is right up your space lane. Thanks to Movie Emporium and Jacob Anders Reviews for suggesting various elements of this review. I'm part of a Twilight Zone podcast with them, and we're in the middle of season 1. Check the link in the description. I promise it's a really fun time that I hope you'll check out. So what do you think? Suggestions for movies, trivial questions, comments, ratings, and an extra pair of space pants in case of emergencies would be appreciated. Thank you so very much for watching.